Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. In this video, we are going to learn about a mechanism of RNA interference and how could we use that mechanism for pest-resistant tobacco plants. We created pest-resistant tobacco plants or the genetically modified tobacco plants to resist against a particular kind of nematode that could attack this tobacco plant. So the principle used there is RNA interference mechanism. So tobacco plants roots are mainly affected by a nematode. What is a nematode? Nematode is nothing but roundworm. Phylum Ascalminthus. Okay, roundworms. So one typical roundworm infecting tobacco plant is Meloidigyne incognitia. What is the name? Meloidigyne incognitia. So the worm Meloidigyne incognitia can infect the root of tobacco plant. Then what happens to the tobacco plant? The tobacco plant will develop some swellings or nodes, root nodes, swellings or gall formation happens. As a result, the nutrients are robbed off because the nematode is staying in the roots, and also it will impair the absorption of nutrients and minerals from the soil. It will also cause the breakage of the root. As a result, it can be prone to secondary infections. As a result of all these, the yield is also reduced. But what is the normal way we can treat this? By spraying some chemicals. But when we spray the chemicals into the soil, it can kill other harmless organisms also. So scientists have now used the principle of RNA interference mechanism in making the tobacco plant resistant to this nematode. How? So for that we need to understand first the mechanism of this RNA interference, or short form is RNAi. Here, before we go into that, we should know what is central dogma. We learned it in molecular genetics. What is central dogma? Nothing but gene expression. I am getting the gene from my parents for different characters. For example, my eye color, brown eye color. I got only the DNA. It has a gene coding for brown eye color. But how could that gene express in my body? Through central dogma. First the gene got transcribed into mRNA. mRNA translated into protein. So that protein is expressed in the form of a pigment. Then my eye color is brown. So every character or feature is nothing but a protein. So but here what happens is, during this RNA interference mechanism, as the name suggests, RNA is interfering. Interfering means what? Inhibiting or disturbing. RNA is interfering a cellular mechanism, or it's a natural biological process or a cellular mechanism of gene regulation. That is, here mRNA is produced. mRNA will get translated into protein. Suppose if we don't want this protein, then what should we do? The RNA will come and attach here. As a result, this mRNA is silenced, not allowed to express in the form of a protein. Quite. Not allowing to express. So, will the protein form? No. So, this is the mechanism. RNA interference. RNA is interfering with the mRNA to silence it. So, it is otherwise called a post-transcriptional gene silencing, or we can call it as mRNA silencing, or it is otherwise called quelling or co-suppression. Okay, so this is actually happening in all eukaryotes, but when does it happen? Mainly in the form of a cellular defense. When some organism is infecting a eukaryotic cell, it will silence it using, silence means what? Once the organism infesting us, only if they produce their protein inside, we will be affected. But we are not allowing it. The double-stranded RNA will be silencing this mRNA. Let us go little more into detail of this process. RNA interference mechanism is silencing of mRNA. But which mRNA is being silenced? The silencing of the mRNA of the pathogen, which is affecting us, because it is a cellular defense mechanism. So let us take, suppose this worm only is our infectious agent. It will produce from its DNA mRNA. So this mRNA we have to silence. So for the time being we call it as target mRNA. Okay? So let the target mRNA be there. We will take it later. Now let us come back. So during RNA interference, first thing is there are two types of RNA, double-stranded RNA involved in it. But we know that usually RNA is single-stranded. But sometimes there can be the RNA formation by RNA-dependent RNA polymerase will do bidirectional transcription. Or a single long RNA can loop around by the rule of complementarity and become a double-stranded one. Okay, so it is usually formed by the infection of a virus or by transposons. Transposons are actually the jumping genes in our DNA. Okay, so these double-stranded DNA are formed, so they are long. So these double-stranded DNA will be cut or diced by certain enzymes. So what is the name of the enzyme? Dicer. There is an enzyme called a dicer to cut the RNA, double-stranded RNA. So the dicer will cut it into small fragments. These are called siRNA. Si stands for small interfering RNA. Okay. Apart from this, one more small dsRNA is participating here, that is miRNA. MicroRNA. If you write mRNA, it would be read as messenger RNA. So miRNA, microRNA. So mainly siRNA and miRNA are responsible for the RNAi mechanism. But there is one more type of RNA, shRNA, short hairpin RNA also. So let us see. So first a double-stranded RNA is formed. It is cut by dicer into small fragments called the siRNA. Now siRNA is only approximately 21 nucleotides long, very small, 21 nucleotides only. Now this siRNA will come to the cytoplasm. There is a protein complex. Protein complex means what? It's a collection of many different types of proteins. Okay, the name of this is RISC. What is RISC? RNA induced silencing complex. So RISC is nothing but RNA induced silencing complex. So the RISC has many proteins I mentioned. The main two proteins are, one is slicer, slicing. Second is argonaute. Other proteins are not important for us, but for us these are the two important ones, slicer and argonaute. Okay, they have roles later. Now RISC is formed, so the RISC will come and bind with this double-stranded siRNA. Even microRNA will also come and bind with this. Now what happens? This RISC will, this has two strands, right? But this double-stranded RNA is made complementary to the target mRNA because it's a defense mechanism. We have to destroy it. So we need to know the complementarity of this. Based on that, this RNA is formed. So this RNA has two strands. The one strand is called a guiding strand, which will be complementary to the mRNA. Complementary to the mRNA means what? Suppose there is a sequence A, U, G, G, C. Okay, so what is the guiding strand then? U, A, C, C, G. Right? So what will be the other strand? The other strand is called a passenger strand or passenger DNA. That will be A, U, G, G, C, which is similar to this target mRNA. So if we take this passenger here, can it bind? No, they are not complementary, but they are same. So we don't want this passenger. What do we want? We want guiding strand. The guiding strand will go and bind with this. A, U, G, G, C means complementary. U, A, C, C, G will bind. So the RISC knows it. The RISC will remove this passenger strand and it will be destroyed. Then what is left with the RISC? Only the guiding strand and also microRNA. Now how is microRNA forming? It is also formed by transcription within the nucleus, but later it will undergo some folding, conformational folding to become the final miRNA. What is its role here? This miRNA is actually helping it to find out the target mRNA along with the guiding strand. Okay, so the miRNA, guiding strand, RISC, everything together now will reach the target mRNA. Okay, but what is there in the RISC? Slicer and Argonaute protein. So this guiding strand will bind here. Okay, it is binding here with the RISC. So these two proteins, slicer and Argonaute, will destroy it or degrade the mRNA. After attaching here, it will destroy or degrade, or sometimes it can regulate the mRNA also. But whatever it is, as a result, this mRNA is not able to translate into the protein because it is already dysfunctional or silenced. So protein is not forming. As a result, this pathogen, whatever it is, whether it is a virus or any pathogen inside the body, won't be able to multiplicate. So this is the silencing mechanism. I'll tell once again. First, double-stranded RNA will be forming in our body, which will be based on the complementarity of the target mRNA. Target mRNA is the mRNA of the pathogen infecting. Then the double-stranded RNA will be first sliced using dicer into small 21 nucleotide strands called the siRNA or small interfering RNA. There is one more set of small RNA called the microRNA. These two will come and bind with a protein complex called the RISC, RNA induced silencing complex. The RISC will remove one of the strands of the double-stranded RNA, make it single-stranded, and the strand which is remaining with the RISC is called a guiding strand. And it is complementary to the target mRNA. It will go and bind with the mRNA, and with the help of this slicer and Argonaute proteins present in the RISC, it will destroy this RNA or mRNA. As a result, the translation and protein synthesis will not take place and the pathogen won't be able to survive inside the host cell. Okay, so this is RNA interference mechanism. Now, how did scientists make use of this in tobacco plant? Scientists transferred a gene of this nematode specific gene. Even before nematode is coming and attacking the plant or tobacco roots, we have taken the gene from the nematode, which is pathogenic gene, that is taken from the nematode, and we gave it to the tobacco plant. How should I give it to tobacco plant? Using which vector? We learned in the previous chapter which vector is used for transfer to plant cells. Yes, Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So we gave it to the plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens and we transferred into tobacco plants. Usually we take one cell, transfer, then later by tissue culture we develop the genetically modified plant. Okay. So now the plant cells have, all the cells in the plants have what? The nematode gene. So once the nematode gene is coming inside the plant will produce double-stranded RNA. Dicer will cut it and make it into siRNA. Okay, that part we discussed. So siRNA are present in each cell. Every single cell has siRNA. So the plant is ready. Our hero has not yet come. Nematode has not yet come. The plant is ready with the siRNA waiting for the nematode to come. Now ultimately who is coming? Our nematode is coming. So it's coming, worm, and it is infecting the plant and start eating the plant. So once it is eating the plant, what happens? The siRNA will go inside its body. siRNA is having the same sequence like its DNA. So what happens? Within the body of the nematode, siRNA will combine with RISC. RISC is present in the body of nematode. Okay. So that RISC, by seeing siRNA, will come and combine. Now what happens? Its gene when gets transcribed into mRNA, so in the body of nematode, the gene is transcribed into mRNA. What will happen? it will be degraded by the siRNA risk complex. As a result, the worm will die. So now the plant is free of infection without any chemical from outside, without anybody's help. It is self-reliant in killing the worm attacking it. Right? So this process is called the RNA interference. Here we are interfering the process of translation, or we are silencing the mRNA using double-stranded RNA. Hope it is clear for you. Hope you enjoyed my video. If you like my videos, please like, share and subscribe with all your friends. Thank you.